service station right there on 66 Highway. He built the service station. And if you notice, the service station was built out of old rock sandstorms. And they built that service station. And not only the service station, but they built a little restaurant next door to the service station. And several families of the sisters and brothers built homes on that 160 acres. I used to live with grandmother up there during the summer. He had a big barn, and on the side of the barn, he had another big building that he raised tame rabbits. And he would just buy about 50 or 100 rabbits and had a fence around and just let the rabbits just run loose. They had chickens. He sold eggs, and we had cows and other things. But when I was of age and I would come out and help grandfather put gas in cars, being polite when they drive up, I would do the windshields and just be polite to the customers. And it was a very prosperous business. People knew where to stop and get gas, and there was a place that they knew that they wouldn't have to worry about saying that you are not allowed to stop here, drive a little bit further. The Green Book was published, I think, 1936. Somehow they left out the Threatt service station, but they are working on to restore that, to put the Threatt service station back into the Green Book. Today it was our modern day 7-Eleven. Not only the service station had gas and fixed flats, change oil, but also they had more convenient things like bread, milk, and canned goods. And people that lived 3 or 4 miles around, they wouldn't have to go all the way to Edmond or Oklahoma City. They could just get their little canned goods, bread, milk right there at the Threatt service station. Across the street from the service station, you had homes, you had families live across the street, and you had there's another club across the street, and they had a club next door to the service station. My uncle, which is Euless, he was the owner of the service station after grandfather passed away, one of the sons. Miss Elizabeth Threatt, which is my aunt, so she added on a couple rooms on back of the service station. So this is where she dwelled, this is where she stayed. But mainly Richard Threatt and I, we pretty well around the service station all the time. The building next door it still belongs to our family. Grandfather's son, which is Edmund Threatt, he ran that as a barbecue restaurant and also as kind of like a club. So he ran that next door. Today, his son, Edward Threatt, he is the owner of that building next door. It is amazing. There's some more history right there, that the building next door to the service station. I don't know if you're familiar with the boxer, the heavyweight champion, Black Joe Louis, the boxer. They call him the Brown Bomber during that particular time. And so they named the restaurant, the joint, after Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber. And so that was the name of that restaurant next to the service station. Every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, folks would come from Tulsa, Oklahoma City, all miles around, because they know that on Saturday and Sunday, they can go and see the Negro baseball players, because teams would come from other towns to compete with one another. And they would drink, pop, beer, and eat, and just have fun. The service station was very prosperous because not only gas, but they served food, hot dogs, hamburgers, barbecue. So people feel comfortable being on a weekend at Threatt Service Station. And behind the service station on Saturday nights, grandfather, they had lights that run from one tree to the other, and they had what you call a ground for people can socialize, and tables was out there they could sit and eat, and they had jukebox, an old dance platform, and so it was kind of like going to the park. And realistic speaking, it was a park that people can just come on the weekend and just socialize and eat, and cross the street on a weekend on Saturday and Sunday. They could watch ball games. It was big enough when people was traveling from West Coast to East Coast. If they're driving an RV, they can, if they wasn't in a big hurry, they can stop and park their RV and relax and spend a weekend. It wasn't no charge because we didn't charge. My grandfather didn't charge no one for just staying overnight. So they could just relax and just take the time traveling from one state to the other. That was so amazing because it wasn't, we didn't look at a person because of the texture of their skin. It was people, it was just people to us, white, black, Indians, or Orientals, or whoever. They were just people. And we treat them as people with respect at one another. There was families would just come from 3 or 4 miles and just sit around hours playing dominoes, socializing with one another, and just relaxing. Not only to get gas, but they would come just eat a hamburger and sit down and play a friendly domino game and just hang around, talk to one another. It was more like a social place than really a gas station. If you notice, when you walk into the old service station, they had a bar and had bar stools. Grandfather bought a TV and had the TV sitting up in the corner, up in the stand, and they could sit and watch TV that was excited just to watch a black and white TV, you know, and drink a pop. I have heard that Gladys Knight was one that we have heard that she stopped there. If we could restore and fix it as a restaurant that people can be, it could be a small McDonald's, a small Burger King, however, and have some restored gas pumps that put on the outside to remind people that this used to be a service station, up-to-date service station. Because during the 30s and 40s, I can imagine that during that particular time that it was just amazing, and to see that blacks had a modern-day 7-Eleven service station during that particular time.